Um, Here we are doing in this video, we are doing the topic of return, which is an instruction in branch and control group. We've already done how is it executed in the introduction video of branch and control. Here we are doing it in a little more detail. So return instruction is written in as RET in 8085, and it is divided into two categories: the unconditional return and the conditional return. Unconditional return is simply written as RET because see how a return instruction is executed. Instruction is executed, the transfer of control happened from here. This is X is the address from which either a jump or a call was written, and our control from the main program transferred to the subprogram. When the subprogram was executed, we returned back to the main program on x plus 1. We went from here and we returned to x plus 1. How did we return to x plus 1? Because the subprogram last instruction was RET, and that instruction helped us to move back to our main program on x plus 1, and this is how our main program got completely executed. As already discussed, whenever return instruction is executed, the contents of the stack are written back onto the PC. How is it written? The SPC, we have the address is 16-bit in 8085. So 0850 was the address. 0850 was x plus 1 actually. So we need to return back to 0850. So 0850 was stored onto stack. The upper byte of the address 08 and the lower byte of the address 50 was stored onto the stack. Whenever RET is executed, what happens is the RET instruction simply brings back the address value from the stack pointer back to the program counter. So 50 will be brought back into the lower byte of the program counter, and 08 will be brought back into the upper byte of the program counter. The lower byte and the upper byte into the lower program counter byte to the and the SP plus 1 to the higher byte of the program counter. And so now 0850 will come into PC. So the content of PC will now become 0850. So now our control will be transferred to 0850. So whatever is in PC is the next instruction which will be fetched by the CPU. So this is how our control is transferred back to x plus 1 here. I have written it in symbolical form. What happens is whenever RET is executed, the content of SP, see the content of SP is brought into PCL, is written into PCL. SP plus 1, when it is brought, 50 is popped out, then the stack pointer now points to SP plus 1. SP plus 1 is brought into PCH. Both of them are popped, and now the stack pointer will be pointing to SP plus 2. This will be removed from here. This is how RET is executed. Now this is the conditional return. It's same as the return we've done here. The same thing happens, but the conditional return says that the return will happen only after checking the condition. And on what the conditions are checked? On the values of the flags. Now the value of the 0 flag is checked. Return if 0. If 0 flag is 1, then only the return will happen. Return if no 0. If 0 flag is 0, then only the return will happen. Return if carry value is 1, then the return will happen. Return if no carry is 0, then only the return will happen. Return if plus, if sign is 0, sign is positive, then only the return will happen. Return if minus, if sign is a 1, it's a negative value, then return will happen. Return if parity even, the contents of the resultant are having even number of ones, then the parity bit goes a 1, and then only the return will happen. Return of parity odd, if p equals to 0, then only the return will happen. This is how return instruction is executed, be it the conditional or the unconditional.